let's keep the profanities to a minimum today.
Oh, me so horny.
Oh, God. Alright, for my next trick,
Oh, get over here!
there are two main reasons we are talking about carbs today, okay?
Yep.
The first reason is I got a comment on my last video from my very good friend, Mikkel, suggesting that I should do an episode on carbs.
Right.
The second reason is I knew I would eventually do an episode on carbs, and I'd already thought of the title for this episode and I was just waiting to use it.
Oh! Saw that coming.
Now, Brian, I need you to tell me something. How do you feel about carbs?
Carbs means pasta. I like pasta, so please go on.
So you love carbs, let's say that. Now, I think it's safe to say that 97% of the entire world agrees with you, because fucking carbs are great in absolutely all of their forms.
Oh, look out.
Oh, shit.
Oh!
I think it's also fair to say that carbs get a very, very bad rap and are often demonized intentionally and unintentionally. A very basic and common example of why carbs are demonized is when someone cuts carbs out of their diet to try and lose weight without doing research.
If I just did that, would you get mad? Are you getting mad? Are you? Are you? Are you? Whoa! 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 Oh.
Anyway, like all topics, this has the potential to be really long, and we've already been recording for 20 minutes, and my script is already over like 1,000 words. And I'm trying to keep this tight. So we are going to categorize carbs into two separate categories. Whoop!
Oh no.
Those two categories, simple and complex. You with me, Brian?
Yep.
The biggest difference between simple and complex carbs that's important to today's tale is rate of digestion. Simple carbs digest very quickly, and complex carbs digest a lot slower. Oh no! Oh no!
Oh.
When we eat carbs, they're broken down into glucose or sugar, which then enters the bloodstream to be stored in our muscles as glycogen, which is our body's primary energy source. Carbs are energy. That's why they're important. We have all been led to believe that carbs are bad for us, especially sugar. Because of this belief that carbs are bad for us, naturally, the first thing we often do to lose weight is cut down on carbs or eliminate them completely. This is the start of a perpetual cycle whereby carbs are seen as a single reason that we lose or gain weight.
Finish him. Gimme. Oh, you want this back? Look at that mouth. We'll have to cut that one out, I think. It's a bit hooly-dolly.
We are the hooly-doolies.
Something that needs to be known. For every gram of carbohydrate we eat, our body retains 3 to 5 grams of water. Meaning, if we stop eating carbs, our bodies stop retaining water. Meaning, we weigh less. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. You're so smart.
Perfect sense. Ho!
Ah.
Ho!
Oh! Didn't see that coming.
Because he got his eye taken out. I don't know about you, Brian, but if I cut carbs completely out of my diet, I would get sick of that very fucking quickly. Fucking a life without bread and ice cream, you can fucking jog on.
Yeah, count me out. Oh, that reminds me.
If someone's been avoiding carbs in order to lose weight, it's very likely they'll miss them, just like we would, don't you think?
Yes, I agree. I would miss them dearly.
If they have been avoiding them, they will no doubt binge the living fuck out of something carbolicious, then go back to eating them regularly, which means inevitably their weight is going to go back up because they start retaining water again. Then they panic and then they give up. This cements the idea that carbs are the sole reason for our weight and body fat going up and down. Plus, it doesn't help that many people's favorite snacks are carbs that are low volume, calorically dense, and highly palatable, especially when mixed with fat and salt, which means a small amount of these foods have lots of calories, and it's easy to eat a lot of them without feeling full. I gotta make something clear, Brian, like I always fucking do on this silly fucking show. Carbs don't make you gain fat. Eating too many fucking calories make you gain fat.
You know what's weird? I mix pasta with Indian sauce.
You've told me about that before. I still don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, beautiful. pineapple flavor.
I'll show you pineapple flavour. Yeah, I know what I mean.
Some carbs have more micronutrients than others. Some carbs are going to be more satiating than others. But no carbs are inherently bad for us. How you choose your carbs will depend on your lifestyle, what you enjoy, and your body composition goals if you have any. If you're trying to lose fat, obviously by now we fucking know that you need to be eating in a deficit. Okay? We know that by now. Caloric deficit. That's your caloric deficit. Your caloric deficit is your caloric deficit. You're in a deficit. Caloric deficit. Bada boom, bada bing. Peter Pan, Stephen King. You're in a deficit.
Yeah, caloric deficit.
This doesn't mean you need to cut carbs out of your diet altogether, especially your favorite ones. This just means you need to pay closer attention to the carb sources that you choose and how you prepare them. For example, mash your potatoes instead of frying them. Now, if you're trying to prioritize strength and muscle gain, your caloric and energy needs are going to be higher than someone trying to lose body fat. Your base diet should still be comprised of whole foods like these, which is the same as someone trying to lose fat, but throwing in a handful of lollies or a bagel in between your meals or after your meals will bump up your total carb and calorie count very quickly. Speaking of bagels and lollies, that's something that I've done in the past. I'm not the biggest eater in the world. I don't have the biggest appetite. So if I'm trying to gain size or strength, I would drink juice, I'd eat lollies, I'd have a bagel before bed. Eating 60 grams of carbs from a handful of lollies is way quicker and way easier than eating, say, a cup of rice or a baked potato. Brian, in conclusion, carbs are our friends. They're not to be feared. Believing and preaching the idea that carbs are bad for us, like our friends who go keto, also known as douchebags, is detrimental to our relationship with food and does more harm than good. There's no reason to cut carbs out of your diet, even if you're trying to lose body fat. Do you think that answers the carbohydrate question, Brian? Do you think we've covered it?
I think you've got that down pat, believe it or not.